Hey quilters, welcome to AccuQuilt Live. I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert. Thanks for joining us today on a Wednesday. Emily's in the house. How are you, my friend?
I am great. We're in the house. I'm happy to be here.
We are indeed. We are indeed. It's been a good week. Have you been busy this week?
Yes, extremely busy. Just between quilt projects and TikToks and all the things, we're just busy.
Emily does a lot of our social media stuff.
I sure do.
So that's kind of exciting. All right, where is everyone watching from today? Marilyn is watching from Los Angeles. I would tell you to say hi to Mason, but he's in Omaha. I know. Anne's watching from Fort Myers, Florida. And Terry's watching from Mississippi. Thanks for joining us today. My dad is watching. Hey, Papa. All right. Let's showcase the new projects from our intro video. First up, okay, Diane B. made this incredible flamingo calendar quilt. Okay, Diane B., first of all, we are totally stealing your idea for November, right, Emily, and making flamingo turkeys.
Turkey feathers are so
Is that not hilarious? I do like the one for April, so it looks like a duck.
Same, and I love the little 4th of July ones as well.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Cute.
Okay, so we're totally stealing some of your ideas. Thank you. We'll give you credit for it. Next up, we have June Q. Look at the Schoolhouse project. So June, I made this project as well. Use the log cabin die and the schoolhouse die. The log cabin shapes, we made it finished to 9 inches. You can always make them, you know, a lot different sizes. And mine is waiting to be quilted. It's beautiful. Do you not love this? Isn't this beautiful?
I really do, and I love just like the stair step effect that you get going down with the log cabins, how she did the darker side, and yeah, just so stunning.
Yeah. All right, and last up is Leslie S. Okay, look at all of the shapes from the cube in there.
She's got a lot going on there.
Flying geese for days and some beautiful blocks in the center. I do love the fact that she used like a checkerboard border. You know, we talked about borders last week.
Yeah.
And a checkerboard border. And then I love the final big border that you could use our chisel shape to make.
It's like grassy and like, so much fun. Yeah.
All right, today's show is all about color palette. And I'm gonna show you a photo that I recently took, and we're gonna discuss creating a quilt using the colors from the picture and an AccuQuilt die. Now, when we calendared this back in the early summer, I had never done anything like this before. And so I really was looking forward to the challenge. So here is my photo of the day. All right, so this is obviously a waterfall that's part of a bigger waterfall. It was taken at the Sunken Gardens in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we're gonna talk about it in more detail, okay, as we go to talk about the quilt. But my question of the day is, where do you find inspiration for your quilting projects? So I asked the team here, and the majority of them said from our live events. And I think that that is so fun because we try to show you, give you inspiration, right? On our Tuesday shows and our Wednesday shows. So in the comments section, where do you find inspiration for your quilting projects? Emily, where do you find it?
Gosh, we were kind of chatting about it, and honestly, I think I just kind of find it whenever I go to the quilt store and I see that fabric that just jumps out at me, right. I just have to do it. And that kind of lets the project kind of guide me from there.
There you go. All right, quilters, this month's die to try is the Go Mill and Stars die. And as you may have already heard, it is sold out. Wow. It's sold out in just 8 days. But if you would like to see it come back as part of our permanent collection, you can vote for it to come back on our webpage at AccuQuilt.com. So if you were lucky enough to get it, great. If not, make sure you vote for it. And speaking of permanent collection dies, yesterday we relaunched the Go Deer Head die, and it is now part of our permanent collection. First, we have the Deer Head bundle with a mat. It comes with our Deer Head die, a 6x12 cutting mat, and the Go Deer Head embroidery designs. Oh. We also have the Go Deer Head medley bundle, which includes the Go Deer Head die, the Go Northwoods medley die. One of my favorite applique shapes is that Northwoods medley. And the Go 8.5 inch square, it will finish to 8 inches. A 10 by 10 cutting mat and and a 6x12 cutting mat, along with the deer head embroidery designs and the Northwoods medley embroidery designs. Last, we have the Oh Dear project die bundle, which comes with the Go Deer Head die, the oven mitt, the Santa stocking die, 6x12 cutting mat, 10x24 cutting mat, the deer head embroidery designs. Yesterday on our show, we showed you some really great inspiration using the oven mitts and the stockings. Producer Joe modeled for us.
That he did.
It was beautiful. All right. Quilters, the Go Me fabric cutter starter set is also on sale right now. This starter set is perfect to bring on the go. And it works with, did you know this, over 160 of our Go dies.
Wow.
And including 5 of the 7 cubes will fit through the Go Me.
It's fantastic.
And the Go Deer Head die. It comes with 2 dies and a cutting mat and a pattern book and tons of inspiration. Today I'm going to give away one of our Go Morning Star dies. It is hands down my all-time favorite die at AccuQuilt. Be sure and register for future events on the AccuQuilt page for your chance to win on the event page. By registering, you'll receive event emails, and that way you'll never miss an exciting tutorial. The amazing Emily will announce the winner of our registered viewer at the end of our show. All right, when we think of quilts, many of us check out what's new at our local quilt shop, just like Emily was saying. And absolutely, that is a great idea. But I recently watched a video from our good friends at American Patchwork and Quilting. The video shows you how to choose fabric based on photographs from your garden or your vacation or other inspiration, and choosing a color palette based on those photographs. Here is the link if you want to check it out. It was really inspirational and very helpful as I was starting this project, okay? And I was really excited to try this out. So let's take a closer look at that picture I showed you earlier, where you find your inspiration. Now, I took this about a month ago at the Sunken Gardens in Lincoln, Nebraska. It is part of a larger waterfall. Now, Emily, I see colors of blue and gray. What colors do you see in there?
Oh, lovely, yes. Along with the blues and the grays, I see some really pretty kind of light shades and darker shades of green that you could play with.
Yes.
There's, gosh, there's just a lot of, and like even hints of like light pinks a little bit.
Pinks a little bit and a little bit of cream,
Yeah.
okay? So what I did was after I took this photograph, then I went to work with my color palette, okay? And we're gonna talk about that in just a second about the color palette. But once I chose the die I wanted to use, now this was actually pretty easy for me because when I looked at this picture, I could see motion, but I could see solid objects like the rocks. And the Morning Star die is one of those amazing dies that gives you the illusion of motion without ever sewing a curved seam. All of the seams are straight. So I chose colors from my color palette and then added them to the pattern. Now, to do this, you want to check out Go Quilt, which is on our AccuQuilt website, and it has a short tutorial to help you get started, okay? So once I chose my pattern, which is this pattern here, okay, you want me to hold it up? There we go. Okay, this was the Morning Star Rainbow Quilt, okay? I love this pattern, okay? Then I printed out the picture of the project, okay? And then I went to Go Quilt because it allows you to take photographs of your fabric and upload them to the project so you can see what it looks like before you ever cut a single cut. Now, I made it out of grunge because since I'm making it out of my favorite die, I should use my favorite fabric.
Of course.
All right, so Emily, we're gonna kind of walk through this a little bit. So this was my first, okay, don't judge me on my grunge, okay, I have quite a bit of it. This was my first choice, was the background, because we have lots of background, and this is called It Hits the Spot, okay, and so it has these little spots on it. Mm-hmm. And then this was some green I had a little bit of it left, you know, and I thought, oh, kind of. And then here were kind of the pink I was thinking about.
Ooh, I've got that pink at home. I love
Yes,
that one.
isn't that beautiful pink? And then this is called Basic Gray, okay? And then here was kind of a blue that I chose. Now, when I looked at my picture, I felt like these were too muted of tones of colors.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so I had taken pictures of these, uploaded it to my computer, okay? I even had looked at like maybe this blue because I had all of this kind of in my stash,
Pretty,
okay?
yeah.
So what I did was, then I went to my local fabric store, the Celtic Quilter that carries grunge, and I found some other colors that I thought might work better, okay? So it saved me, I could have used some of the pieces from my stash, but because Go Quilt gives you fabric requirements for the project,
Yeah.
then I just bought what I needed for this project. And this is a staple that I have in my house. It's called Basic Gray. So notice it's different than the circles.
Yes.
When I uploaded it to Go Quilt, the circles were really distracting. So I just thought, oh, well, that's okay. I'm going to use Basic Gray. So here was some other fabrics that I chose because I used them in Go Quilt. So here's the green that I'm going to use. And I really, really, really liked this purple with the dots.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that pinky purple which matched the rocks and the tones.
Yeah.
All right. And then this I thought was a better blue than this. And this is exactly the process you want to do this, quilters. You want to get your fabric out and kind of look and say, oh, you know, I didn't want it too muted,
Yeah.
okay? And then, because grunge makes stars, I thought this would be perfect for the rocks. The thing I wanted was I wanted a variety of colors, and I wanted it not to be all washed out, right? So if I'd used this gray, see how kind of washed out it is?
Oh, it kind of misses that little bit of a punch too.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And if I use this green, see, it's just all kind of muted.
Sure.
And that's not what I wanted, okay? So these were the colors that I chose. All right? And I took pictures of them. I uploaded them to Go Quilt. It printed out a pattern, and it gave me fabric requirements for it. So, ta-da, okay? So when you think about color palette, this is the process. Maybe you have a beautiful garden this summer and you have flowers. Take some pictures of those flowers and think, oh, here's some really cool colors that I could create using those, okay?
That's such a cool idea.
It was such a fun idea. And we have that little link, and boy, I would suggest you watch it if you get a minute, because it was just fascinating. All right. Now, let's look at the die, now that we've talked about color. And this is the Go Morningstar die. It is hands down my favorite die at AccuQuilt. The reason that it is my favorite die is because the block is phenomenal, first of all. But there are only 2 shapes. And so you can take, each of these shapes are screen printed. They have that 1/4-inch seam allowance built in. And so you're going to get perfect seams with it every single time. We have specialized dog ears, okay? And I think that this die, it will fit in that Go Me, is this will be the 4th quilt that I made
Really?
using this die.
See, and I've been like, I love the Morningstar. I haven't personally used it, but I'm really looking forward to see how it's put together, because it does kind of give a little bit of that movement to it. But you're right, it's just those simple 2 shapes.
And I feel like it's a little overwhelming. So the quilt that hangs behind Emily was my first Morningstar quilt. It's made of grunge. But I'm a big modern quilter, and so I just had 2 colors. How easy was that? So you could make it 2 colors. You could make it like I'm going to do with the color palette. Maybe you want to just make it scrappy. The amazing Lynn Gibney made one that is just completely scrappy, and it's just beautiful. So a great die to use, okay? Now, my quilt uses just 2 blocks. So, oh, okay, so here I'm going to show you this because this is so cool. All right, so this is what it printed out after I changed the colorway.
Oh my gosh, Pam.
Isn't that cool?
This is so cool looking. It's like the ombre vibe. It's just this, oh my gosh.
And
love
it gives that illusion of motion, but I love the border of the rocks.
Yes, those dark kind of, the dark corners kind of create its own like secondary pattern to it. Just, okay, love this.
Yeah.
Love that.
And all just in Go Quilt. It's a free tool, you can print it out. So it only uses 2 blocks. And they call them a cool block and a warm block. Okay? The warm block are these 4 in the center. They are the same blocks, just turned differently. I know.
See, I see. There's a method
See?
to the madness.
Okay.
I love
So
it.
I have one because I made the center. So I'll hold it up real big. Okay. Ooh. There are blocks falling out of my
Tumbling
quilt.
blocks.
Okay. So look at this. So this is just the center warm blocks.
Wow.
They're the same 4 blocks, just turned differently. And does it not give you that amazing look of motion?
It really, really does.
And you only ever so straight seams. And look how perfect those points come together. We're going to talk about how to make that.
And the colors are so nice. It's just, oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is the block I'm going to make. I'm going to make a cool block. I already have some made, and I already have some sections made. This is the cool block that I'm going to make. And you're going to notice that these, now in your quilting head, you're going to think, ooh, these 2 blocks are the same. They are not.
They're not?
Because this has the blue on the right, this has the gray on the right. So what I did was I started with my pattern and I just did chunks at a time. Okay? So I made these chunks and this chunks, and look, I made a note. Cut and sew these 2. Okay? It's important. It's important. Okay? So you can always cut 6 layers of cotton with your dies. We're only gonna, well, we're gonna cut 6 layers today. The background squares were or the background triangles were the ones we needed the most. And when I cut my fabric quilters, I cut the majority of my pieces at one time. Like I cut all my background colors.
If you can, why not?
You can, yeah. I had to save some so that I could do today's show, but you can do that, okay? And we can always cut 6 layers, okay?
And I think our quilters always ask, you know, is there any waste when you use these dies? I think this is like the perfect demonstration of how it just, they're so nicely, you know, nested together, and you can just get.
Yeah, I just subcut them. It's just great. Okay, and I just need some dark corners. I already have all my light corners cut. All right, so while I'm going to run this through the Go Big, hey, remember this will fit through that Go Me. It'll fit through all of our cutters, but today I'm using the Go Big. Hold on.
It sure will. And actually, with that Go Me, we have a few of our.
Got me a mat.
We have a fantastic go-getter named Porfiria Gomez.
Yes, hi
who-
Porfiria.
I love Porfiria. She is like an expert in teaching beginners, and the Go Me is like her favorite cutter. So if y'all are on YouTube and kind of want, you know, another like
There you go.
how-to for beginners, she's so great. I love Porfiria.
She's great. She wears beautiful hats.
She does. And we have Em and Baron, Sam Rhymes with Ham. If y'all aren't on YouTube, if you're kind of on like Instagram, they also have, they're both obsessed with the Go Me.
There you go. Check out our go-getters. They make amazing things.
They really do.
All right, so I'm going to put a 6x24 cutting mat. Emily, tell us where people find their inspiration.
We're having so many, oh, love you, Jennifer. She says your Facebook group.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Marlene says from you, Pam, and other
thank you.
quilters. Dambra watches the live events and quilt magazines.
Oh, you know, I do love a good quilt magazine because then I can go through and go, oh, there's a die for that.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, so we're going to give it some love. We're going to slide, don't lift, and we're going to pull back this beautiful grunge. Just makes me
Love
so happy.
that.
Gosh. And grunge, boy, I keep all the little pieces that are left. Okay. All right, turn off my cutter there. All right, again, you only have 2 shapes. Now, quilters, I am a huge fan of cutting multiple blocks at one time and then shaping piecing for days. You know how I love this. But with this block, my pro tip is to lay out one section at a time, okay? I'm gonna show you these 2 sections that I'm gonna lay out and then chain piece this as well, okay?
Perfect.
Don't try to lay out your whole block and then try to chain piece it. It just gets a little confusing,
Right.
okay? Hey, don't forget, Eric and I, we have a special show on Friday at 12 noon Central Time, August 26th. It's called Let the Quilting Begin. And you want to register because we are giving away great prizes and it's going to be tons of fun. It's all about the end of summer and some fun things that we did during the summertime.
Oh boy.
Okay? Okay, so in this block, you are basically taking triangles and sewing them into larger triangles. It's not that hard. You just have to keep track of your pieces, okay? Don't forget, all of our videos live on our website and our YouTube pages. If you want to come back and watch this one or yesterday's show of the deer head die relaunch, that was super fun, you can. All right. So now, cut and sew these 2. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out my blocks, and I have some pieces that I've already cut. So I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to show you how the half goes together. And grunge has a front and a back, so make sure you're getting grunge. Emily, do you know how they make grunge?
I have no idea. How do
Yeah,
they
they
make it?
paint. It's like a painting process. Our good friends at Moda
That's
make grunge.
amazing.
And they paint it, and that's how it kind of gets that little 3D effect.
Oh my gosh.
Okay?
That is so cool.
I know. And you need 8 of the cool blocks and 4 of the warm blocks, which I already sewed together. So when I did this, quilters, these are the last ones that I need to sew. I laid 3 of them out, you know, and then just made 3
sure.
together, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. All right, so while I'm laying these out, tell us where people find their inspiration, because this is a fun question.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Susan says, any quilt I see on your videos and magazines or in shows, great inspiration found in others' work. I'd agree with that.
I do. I find great, you know, I have some Facebook pages that I belong to, and I find that I really find inspiration from other quilters.
Yeah,
Right?
it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to keep my pieces here, okay, and we're going to start sewing these together. All right.
Pam Leslie said, my inspiration is Halloween.
Leslie and I live in the same world. I cannot tell you what I'm doing right now, but it is a super secret fun project for October.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to start by sewing we're going to start at the bottom, okay, and work our way to the top. I was found, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to sew the right side to the center. And look at how perfect this lines up.
There it is.
The reason this is one of my favorite dies is that I would never make this block without it, because you would have to do all sorts of templates or, I don't know, maybe foundation piecing, which never is going to be straight.
No.
Okay? All right, I have my shoes off. I'm ready to listen. Where do people find inspiration?
I love it. Oh, before I forget too, tomorrow is my buddy Ben's birthday.
Happy birthday, Ben.
He is he's an avid watcher of the show, a huge, huge fan of Wednesdays. So big
Hi,
shout
Ben.
out to
Thanks
you,
for
Ben.
watching.
Thank you for watching today. But we do have, let's see, Miss Pam, another Pam.
Yes.
Finds inspiration from AccuQuilt events, quilt shows, and local quilt shops.
I do. Quilt shows are one of those other things.
They really are.
Every now and then I think to myself, I am a really good quilter. And then I go to a quilt show and I think, oh, I have some things I could learn in life.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Corinne, she goes to Pinterest. Pinterest is a great space for inspiration.
Okay, I have to tell you, Pinterest to me is like a hole.
It is.
that I just dive into, and it takes me a long time to get out.
Yeah, you realize, you know, you blink and it's the
Yeah,
next
I
day.
do. I find it, so I have to limit myself to the amount of time I spend on Pinterest.
And there's so many different Pinterests. There's, you know, home organization, there's quilting Pinterest, there's just all sorts of genres you
Herein
can
the
get
reason
lost
I
in.
limit myself.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now here's the best. You want to press your seams open, and then that way they're going to lay nice and flat. Pressing is important. And Emily, what's the difference between pressing and ironing?
Okay, I had to learn this the hard way, unfortunately.
Yes.
So pressing is more like kind of just setting that iron on
Right
top
there.
of, yeah, exactly. When you're ironing, it's more so like you're kind of giving it some motion and exactly, and you're going to be really, I had to learn that you're going to be very cranky.
And what happens to your fabric when you iron it?
It just kind of like, if there's a delicate seam at all, like it'll kind of rip it open a little bit.
Yep.
It'll mess with like the flatness of your fabric. It'll just wrinkle up all wonky, and it's just not going to lay flat like you want it to. And yeah, I did unfortunately with a few blocks before I.
No, it's
I was
okay. It's a
trained the
learning
new way.
curve, right?
Exactly.
All right, so I'm just going to press it there, and it's going to come together beautifully. Oh, look at that beautiful grunge. Notice, quilters, I didn't take my other two pieces and cut my string. I'm just doing chain piecing. Okay?
I love this.
So now I'm going to take this white triangle, and I'm going to sew it to this section. And look how perfect it comes together. And the way you know that you're sewing a true 1/4 inch seam is that there is no overlay on this side.
Right.
Right? Okay. All right, Emily, where are people finding inspiration?
Yeah, and we have a great question from Irene.
Hi, Irene.
She's wondering, is this quilt good for a guy?
Oh my, yes. One of them I made for Ray.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like there's so many quilts that are very versatile like that, right? There's a
Oh
ton
yeah,
of
like the
designs
one
you can
behind you,
do.
that black and white one behind you would be perfect
Yeah.
for a guy.
That would be fabulous. We have more inspiration. Let's see. Oh, Jennifer says she gets inspiration from quilt books that she has.
Oh,
at
there you go.
home. Oh, Kimberly says, I see quilts just about everywhere. Was wondering if anyone has suggested, a Santa Claus die. Okay, Kimberly, we'll have to put that in the
Santa
suggestion
die.
box for you.
Santa was here in the summer. We should have, I'm surprised you didn't say that. He said we needed a teapot die.
He sure was.
All right. Okay, so now I've sewn shape A's together. So now I'm going to add the top, okay, of my triangle. And the question we get all the time is, can the AccuQuilt system save me time and fabric? This is a perfect example of how I have saved 90% faster, right, than rotary cutters or scissors, and fabric for days. This is the perfect example because I didn't have to get a template or a ruler to trace out the pieces and cut them or do anything like that. Okay, and fabric, because this is grunge, it's my favorite, I'm going to save it. Okay. Hey, don't forget, quilters, we have Go Deer Head die bundles available to help you get started on seasonal and themed projects. It is that time of year again. Be sure and place your orders while the die is in stock and ready to ship. The Go Me Fabrics Cutter Starter Set is on sale. This is the perfect size cutter for little ones that they can safely and easily use. Yesterday, when we relaunched or made it part of our permanent collection, we showed some really fun projects that we cut out of craft foam. Did you make a deer head when you were here?
I neglected to
No,
make
you
a
were
deer
no,
head,
you
but
were
I
running around.
I will
taking
make
people.
but I will definitely make my own deer head to contribute, you know.
Yes, there we go. Today I'm giving away one of our Go Morning Star dies. It's my favorite. Be sure and register for future events on the AccuQuilt event page for your chance to win. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the tops of the triangle to the base, and the instructions tell you to press your seams open. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a sec. Okay, Emily, while I'm sewing, tell us what people are saying.
Sure. Tammy says, I find my inspiration from time spent with my grandkids. I try to see life through their little eyes and imaginations.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wonderful answer, Tammy. And so thoughtful.
We have the best viewers. Okay, so look, now I'm just pressing my seams open. Look how nice and flat they're laying. Okay, once I press it down, then I'm just going to hold it there.
Exactly.
Look how straight my edge is. So nice, okay? And now I'm gonna add this to the top. I was telling producer Joe this story. I have a design wall downstairs that I'm working on some projects for. And I have one on there that I really have put a great deal of effort into organizing the pieces. And the other night, Oakley spent the night with me, and she wanted to go downstairs and get something, and I said, sure. And I was upstairs doing something, and she took almost all, well, she's only this tall, so
Right.
however tall she could reach, and rearranged all the blocks on my design wall. For a hot minute, I thought, oh, I should just make the quilt like that, but it made no sense. So
Yeah.
anyway,
We tried.
design walls, I love it. Okay, now watch this. All right, what I found is this. I am gonna press the, I found that if I press the top triangles in opposite directions, when I go to sew them together, they're gonna nest.
Okay, I see what you did.
Okay, I know that the instructions tell you to press them open, but for me, I found that this worked the best. And so what I did was I just did the ones that have, we're gonna sew these half square triangles to the bottom.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna press these away to the top, okay, and then the other two I'm gonna press towards the middle.
Okay.
It just works for me. You can totally press your seams open if you want, okay?
Yeah, but that's the pro way.
Honestly, Emily, it took me longer to press my blocks than it did to sew them. And for sure to cut them. I just thought it was amazing.
I know, I found that I was working on a carpenter's wheel the other
96
day.
pieces.
96 pieces, 2 times. So
Yes. There you go.
that was, but it was so satisfying when those final points come together. It's
Yes.
like, ta-da.
And no Y seams in the carpenter's
No
wheel.
Y seams. It was
Okay,
beautiful.
so look at this, okay? Now, the next step is absolutely crucial. This is shape B, which are those half square triangles.
Sure.
And you want to sew shape B to the triangle before you sew 2 triangles together.
Right.
Because otherwise there's some hangover there, and you have to trim your pieces. And why would you do that?
Why?
Okay, all right, and then we're gonna sew our little block together, okay? So I've pinned this one because this is the one I brought from home. All right, Emily, tell us, what are people doing
Perfect.
for inspiration?
Well, Miss Darlene gets inspired by the person who is going to be receiving the quilt.
Oh, you know, that's a really good thought.
Yeah.
That is a really good thought.
That is genius. Yeah, when I actually did that when I had my, a table topper for my uncle. I texted my aunt and I said, hey, would you mind sending me a photo of your dining room so I can match, you know, your color scheme? And that worked out pretty well.
All right. Okay, and as I was sewing that, I realized I should have told you this trick. So I'm gonna line these pieces up right here at the top and the bottom. This is a solid piece on the bottom, put right sides together. So I'm gonna put the pieced triangle on top so I know where that 1/4 inch seam allowance is, so I get perfect points. I could see it through this one, so I could tell. You know, I think that that's important to talk about colors and, you know, what kind of, you know, for example, if they live in Florida, what kind of batting you're gonna use is different than if you live in Nebraska.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, my dad lives in St. George, Utah, which, okay, they say gets cold in the winter, but they've never lived in Nebraska. So when I did his quilt, I used like a lighter batting,
Oh, nice. That
right?
was
So
thoughtful.
all of those things come into play when you're making a quilt for a friend.
It's true.
Okay, look,
Oh my gosh, look at it go.
so good points. So
And
now
what-
I'm gonna press away so my point lays perfect.
Since you are pressing, Dial wants to confirm it. Are you using steam at all?
None steam ever. Listen to my words. None steam ever. At home, never ever do I use steam. The reason is steam, it gets things wet. And what happens when fabric gets wet?
It expands.
It stretches. I never ever use steam. Okay, that was kind of harsh, but that's the truth. Okay.
That's the pro.
All right, so I've sewn the bottom of my B to my triangles, and I'm just going to press it here. All right, so while I'm pressing, Emily, tell everybody about our blog.
Oh, our blog. We've got the greatest blog. So our AccuQuilters, as well as our AccuQuilt employees, as well as our go-getters, come together to create these amazing blogs with exclusive patterns that you're not going to find anywhere else. So you want to go to AccuQuilt.blog.com or blog.AccuQuilt.com, excuse me.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
And check it out, because we have a really fun one for the deer head die this week.
Yes, it's so
fun.
cute.
All right, now I'm going to sew these two sections together, and then I'm going to show you how this half block comes together. Because when you look at it, you will say, oh, Bam, you did that wrong, but really not. Okay, so now look, because I have pressed one in one direction and one in the other, I can line up the corners here, and then these two pieces are going to nest.
Perfect.
I know, it's all about the precision. Notice, quilters, I am not going super fast on this. I'm just trying to, make sure I keep my points straight, make sure I have that 1/4 inch seam. Okay, all right, Emily, tell us where everybody else is finding inspiration.
I actually have some good questions too.
Oh, tell us the questions. Ask the questions, I guess.
So Miss Marilyn is going to be going on a retreat and wants to take the Go Me.
Yes.
She's wondering if you have a suggestion for an easy to sew die to take with. She has millions of dies and can't decide.
Oh, okay. I would take a cube, because the 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 inch cubes will fit in that Go Me. But the Go Me actually comes with 2 dies. It comes with a 3 inch finished half square triangle and a 3 inch finished 1/4 square triangle. And if you go to our website, there are 180, is that the right number, guys? Brock? Yeah? 180 patterns that you can make with the Go Me. 160, there's the number I was looking for. Over 160 patterns, free downloadable from AccuQuilt.com. So I would take the Go Me, the 2 dies, and pick a pattern from the website and go from there.
Oh, that's
Because then you can just cut and sew half square triangles and 1/4 square triangles for days. That sounds like fun to me. Okay, now, or take the Morningstar die.
There you go.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to sew. Okay, what other questions do people have?
And actually, this is kind of a perfect follow-up because April's wondering if you can use the cube to get the same shapes that are in the die.
Oh, and what's the answer to that, Emily?
That's going to be a no on this one.
That is going to be a no on this one. Mm-hmm. These are isosceles triangles, not half square triangles or 1/4 square triangles.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And, oh, hang on here. When I sew this, I'm thinking about a continued answer to that. Hold on.
Right.
And this die, you can tell this die lives at the studio because it doesn't have me writing stuff on the back. But every time I get a die that has half square triangles and 1/4 square triangles and squares on it, on the back in a Sharpie, I write half square triangle, and I know that it finishes too. So, half square triangle, 3 inches, or half square triangle, 3.5 inches, or whatever they finish to. Because then sometimes I'm looking at different projects or bob dies, and I think, gosh, I wish there was a 1/4 square triangle that finished to 3.5 inches, and then I can look through my bob dies, and on the back, I can go through really fast and see. And I do it in the same order. I start with big square, little square, half square triangle, 1/4 square triangle. And then I can just find one. I think that's great. Okay, so look at this. You don't get those kind of points without a AccuQuilt die. Look at that.
Wow.
Okay, so now I'm going to press them open. And the only time I don't press them open is when I'm doing the top and the bottom triangle. Okay, do we have more questions, Emily?
We sure do. And this one's a very interesting one from Miss Loanne.
Hi, Luann.
So she's wondering, when the directions are written do we make the block and then write the instructions, or is it kind of like a...
No, the directions are written for the die. So for example, when I test a die and write a pattern for it, I write a pattern based on the fact that 90% of the time I'm going to press to the dark side, right? Because typically we use half square triangles and quarter square triangles. We want to press to the dark side. But bob dies, typically, we want to press our seams open because bob dies usually have more shapes.
Right, right.
So I would for sure make a test block following the pattern instructions, and then in your quilting head go, okay, that was great, whoever wrote the pattern, but I find it easier to press my seams opposite so that that nests together.
Sure.
Okay, but always make a test block following the pattern instructions. We have amazing pattern designers who know way more about quilting than I do. And I go, oh, that makes sense why she would say that, you know, kind of thing. Okay, so here we go. I'm pressing them open.
Oh, and then Chris has a question. What is wondering the difference between a Go Me and a Go Baby?
Oh, so do you know?
Yeah, I believe it's just rebranded. I mean, a few years ago, did they improve the handle of some?
So the Go Baby was had been around for years and years, and 2.5 years ago we stopped the Go Baby. It came with 2 dies: a tumbler die, a small tumbler die, and a flower applique die. And then we realized that we wanted quilters to get a Go Me, so we named it something different so you knew the dies were different. We wanted to give you dies that would allow you to create 160 projects. And so we were able to go through, and there was a process. There was a process, so many of us talked about it and wanted to make sure it worked together, and then chose those 2 dies. And so the Go Me has different dies than the Go Baby.
Okay.
Okay? So, but that is a great question.
That's cool. So it's not the difference in the cutter, it's the difference in the bundle.
It's, yes, that comes with it.
Love that.
Okay? All right, so now look, I'm getting ready. Look how perfect my points come together. They are not wonky at all. The reason is I pressed these seams open, and then I took my time.
And then you kind
And
of
look how it fits because I added that half square triangle first.
Oh, it's perfection. And then you kind of see that little beach ball in the center of the of the block.
Yes,
as
the
you...
little beach ball. Okay, this has nothing to do with anything other than, you know, we always talk about food. So the other day, Mason, the favorite child, is home from California. And we had dinner with some friends who have, Mason and Taylor, our families grew up together. And 4 of their 5 children were home. And so we had dessert the other day. And I made these super cute sugar cookies that look like what I thought were like daisies, okay?
Okay.
And so I had white frosting on the outside, and then the center I put yellow frosting on the inside. Mason goes, why did you make deviled eggs? So,
That's great.
okay, so I don't know why I told you that story other than that's what happens. Okay, now look, I'm gonna press my seams open. And again, when I made all these other blocks, I did 4 at a time. Okay, but I had to have something to show you today. All right, Emily, do we have more questions?
Let's see here. Yes, we have.
Where people
we've
are
had
finding
some...
inspiration?
Oh, yeah, Miss Martha's wondering
Martha?
if the packaging, the die packaging itself has the explicit instructions for assembly. And
Yes.
they do, but if you don't keep the packaging, there's always the website item page where you can find the block assembly
So
instructions.
the packaging has the assembly instructions, and it has the pattern for the black and white quilt that Emily has behind her, okay? And then if you go to AccuQuilt.com and put in Morningstar, you will get all sorts of other patterns.
Yeah.
Okay?
So many.
And that's how you choose Go Quilt. Go Quilt, you just have to sign up for it. It's free.
Exactly.
Okay? All right, now look. Gosh. Everything about this block I love. Look how perfect all of those points came together. Every single one of them, because we have those dog-eared corners, okay? Notice it's at an angle like this. So the other half looks like this.
Look at that.
And you're going to sew them together and press those seams open. Look at that. Okay?
So beautiful.
This is one of those do as I say, do as I do. Okay? Blocks. All right. Once your blocks are sewn together, follow the pattern by adding 12-inch setting triangles. So I'm going to show you this because this was super cool. All right. So this is the pattern that I used to make the quilt. Hold on, I'm going to tell you what it is. Morningstar Rainbow Quilt. Now, Emily, when we have setting triangles, what do the setting triangles have on them? They have sides and what?
Sides and corners.
Corners. This particular pattern only uses the sides because we're going to take our block and turn it on point, and you're going to use a side here and a side here. There are no corners. This is why you should read all of the instructions
Definitely.
before you cut your good grunge, because in my quilting head I would think, oh, well, I have to cut 4 corners, and then I would have wasted that fabric.
And guess what, Pam?
What?
Both of those dies are in the overstock section right
Oh my gosh. Okay, so today get you the Morningstar die and the 12-inch setting triangles.
Exactly.
Because then you can use other 12-inch blocks with that.
You sure could.
All right. So be sure and share your finished projects with us on all of our social media platforms. To do that, to tag us, you just put the @ in AccuQuilt, and it tags us.
Yeah.
Now, if the whole process seems a little daunting, we're going to start with one block. Now, you should know that producer Joe and I had a whole conversation about this show today. And he said, Pam, I thought when you were talking about color palette, that he said, I thought you were going to look at a picture and recreate the picture.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of look at the picture, find the colors, recreate a quilt using a die. Okay? Well, here's a picture from last year's summer vacation. I went to Seattle to my brother's house. He lives out on Hood Canal. And this was crab we caught, which was super fun. Okay?
Gosh, wow.
So if the whole process of choosing a block and choosing the colors and choosing all of that is daunting, here is the best way to do it, okay? So this is a block that I made using that picture as inspiration.
Oh my gosh.
Is he not so stinking cute?
Okay, how did you do his little eyes at the
Okay, so I used the 5-inch cube. So let's go through all the shapes, Emily. You can tell me. Okay, what shape is this?
Oh, the half square triangles.
Yes, which in the 5-inch
Shape
cube.
2? No. It's 2 square, half square, square, half square.
I used
4?
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
2 and 5, okay. And what shape is this, Emily?
That is the half rectangle.
It's from yes, half rectangles.
Rectangle triangle, right?
Yes.
And then the ooh,
Triangle and a square.
The triangle and a square. Okay, because yeah, it gives you that.
His little pinchers.
Wow. Because they're different. They're 2 different. Wow. You
Yes.
just really thought that through, didn't you? Oh my gosh.
Oh, listen.
How did you do this?
Okay, so I took the picture and I kind of figured out, well, this would make the body, right? So these are all the squares. And the pinchers I had to think about. So the triangle and a square. Now his little teeny eyes, I used the half square triangle from the snowball die. And I sewed it on, cut off the excess and folded it over. Because I was going to use the half square triangle, or the small half square triangle.
Yeah.
It was just too huge.
It's perfect. It's
Okay,
just
now
perfect.
that I've told you that, hold on one sec. Hold on.
I love this. I feel like this is quiz day too today.
I know, right? Oh, okay, so this is shapes 1 and 3. Sorry. Okay, could you make this with any size cube?
You sure could.
Oh, come.
Why not? Because they're the same shapes, just different sizes.
Yep.
You could make a little baby crab or a king crab.
You could. Yes, we're gonna make baby crabs and king crab. Okay, so I posted this on my social media page. You can find me at AccuQuilt Educator Pam Heller, and I went through row by row of what you needed. Okay, and then make some crabs, share it with us, and be fun.
I can't wait to see
All
everybody.
right, so just for producer Joe, I actually did recreate a block based on a picture. So you have two choices here. All right. And don't forget, we have tons of videos on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page and our website on how to use the cube system. 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 will fit through that. Go, baby.
Yes.
All right. I don't know. Brock showing us our thing. There we go. Don't forget to join Erica on Tuesday, August 30th at 12 noon Central Time. We are going to show you how to create temperature quilts. It is a huge trend right now and so many ways to create the project. Okay, I don't often promote something, but this is a show you want to register for because the fabric giveaway is what I want in my own stash.
Really? Oh
So
my gosh, I can't wait
be
to
sure to register for the chance to win prizes. I saw it today, about lost my quilting mind. Don't forget, we launched our deer head die. It's now part of our permanent collection. Our first bundle is the Go Deer Head with a mat. This bundle is perfect for quilters itching to get their hands on this fun applique die. The Go Deer Head Medley Bundle is great for making themed projects and setting blocks on point. With the Go Square, it finishes to 8 inches. Plus, the Go Deer Head Die Project Bundle is a quilter's go-to for starting early on holiday projects and gifts, a great way to start the holiday season. All of these bundles come with free downloadable embroidery designs as well. Don't forget that Go Me Fabric Cutter Starter Set is on sale. This cutter is our most lightweight portable one. You can easy to travel with it. I used to take it to London with me every time I went. While it can cut a variety of Go dies, like the Go Deer Head die, the Go Morningstar die, right? All of those fun things, okay? All right, Emily is going to announce our AQ Live winner today. They get my favorite die. Who is our winner today?
Oh boy, I can't wait. All right, let's announce our winner. Drum roll, please. Angela Sparks of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yay, Angela, we're so excited for you to see this die. Make something phenomenal. Be sure and share it with us. All right, quilters, be sure to join us for next week's AccuQuilt Live as we talk about embracing your quilting curves. I will be getting ready for a quilt retreat on the weekend, so the lovely Erica is going to fill in for me, and she is going to show you how to cut and sew her favorite block using the Go Glorified 9-patch die. You want to make sure you register for the event for the chance to win prizes. All right, on behalf of our entire AccuQuilt team, I hope you've learned tons about color and color palettes and recreating blocks, and I'm super excited to see what projects you made. On behalf of our team, we have Morgan and Katie and Lauren are offsite helping with us. And here in the Dream Studio, I have Justin, Joe, Brock, and of course, the amazing Emily. I am Pam Heller reminding you at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more. We'll see you later.